think there is already a rule for conservation. So the architecture has to be followed of what is existing. But I've seen new buildings coming up, like really high ones. And since the area is so crowded and everything is very narrow, the roads are narrow, any accident that happens can affect the people around them. So there should be some restriction on the height of the building and the architecture of the building. And it preserves the whole area, also looks like
That area should be preserved.
yeah, it should be
it's
preserved.
a heritage.
Like how you have in Kampal, there it's a preservation zone. That means you can't change anything. This is a conservation zone. So you can still demolish a building, but it has to be built according to the same standards or the architecture has to be the same.
But it's already rules there.
There is a rule already, so I don't know how these guys are getting.
There are still, we can see some constructions over there.
Some constructions are going on, but I think most of them are following those guidelines of the architecture and the style.
Because that yesterday the one incident happened where the hotel roof collapsed on some heritage house.
Yeah, so that's an example of the building. That's also an old building, but it's an example of the buildings the type of buildings that are coming up there, which are not in line with the architecture and with that whole zone.
Okay, so do you think they are not following proper guidelines? I mean,
some of them are not following proper guidelines. So I think there should be a stricter check on how they're building, how close they are to other residences. There are a lot of safety issues also. So they should check on all those things.
okay, there are some parking issues also.
Pardon?
There are some parking issues also because the roads are narrow.
The problem with the parking is, first of all, you have the regular locals who live there. Then you have taxi drivers who are coming in there because of the restaurants and there are a lot of guest houses, restaurants. Then you have local renter cabs that are coming in. So there's so much of traffic that's non-resident that's coming there. So it creates an issue for parking.
And even the tourists are visiting that area, are damaging the houses. And
they rent their own bikes, they rent their own cars, so they bring that. Plus you have the regular taxis, plus you have local, your regular people who are passing by and residents who are parking there. So that parking is not enough.
And even tourists are, when you see the Saturday and Sunday, tourists are also visit in a large numbers and they are damage the houses of locals staying over there.
That is being a big issue over there because they put their feet up. They'll have this Bollywood pose where they put one foot on the wall and they pose. So that is what this dirtying all the walls everywhere. I mean, most of them don't realize. If you tell them once nicely, they understand. But there should be some board saying, don't do this, don't do that. Some guidelines of how they should. Because if it's a heritage zone, then there should be a certain way of going through a heritage zone. So like you take your pictures, but you don't have to go and put your feet up and sit on somebody's window.
So coming back to construction, there should be some check on new constructions coming up there.
There definitely has to be a check on new constructions. And as long as they follow the rules and
need of the
it is the need of the not only in our conservation everywhere all over Goa, it's the need of the hour.
It is not only the banning of high-rise construction, but also converting residential into commercial. That is worse. What is happening today in Fontainhas is that where there were residences, converting into commercial. So where there is a problem of parking, there is no parking facilities here. Inadequate parking, the roads are narrow, it cannot cope up with the traffic that it is, and we are giving it for commercial purpose, which is not suitable for commercial. It's purely a residential area, and it was a residential area. This is what the authorities have to keep in mind.
Okay, but it's about safety also, no? If high-rise construction are allowed
See,
here.
that safety measure, whether it's high-rise or a low-rise, both are unsafe. If there is unsafe, they have to be declared as unsafe, correct? There has to be a check being done on that. Once a house or a property is unsafe, they have to be sealed. Correct? It's not, I know from where you come, from the case which that
Roof collapse on the
the
heritage
collapse
house.
after the frame, which that could happen. Whose mistake it is? Not the owner's mistake. It is the mistake of the contractor. Whoever has done that job. Me as an owner, I will put something, but I don't know what quality. I paid the amount. The contractor or whoever has done it has done it.
Okay.
But he may have not done it properly. So the people who have paid for it should not be blamed. No?
But do you think the new construction should allow here in this area?
No. This is a conservation, cannot be allowed.
There are rules are already framed, I think.
Rules are already framed. You are not allowed to. These all constructions are before 91, no? Before this rule came.
Okay, there are already rules, so new construction
Cannot come.
nobody can build here.
Nobody can build. Nobody can come with a high-rise building.
Yes, this is the rule to prevent new construction with high-rise. That should not be allowed now for the area, Sao Tome area. Because it's called the beauty of Fontainhas, Sao Tome, where we get a heritage house. But we should maintain the heritage house so that without creating more than 3 floors. And the CCP and the BTA, whatever government agencies are there, they should protect this Fontainhas in Sao Tome from the high-rise buildings.
Okay, but there question arises of safety also.
Yeah, safety, because if they should go as per the procedures, CCP. But high-rise construction should not be allowed in these areas.
So locals from
Locals
Fontainhas-
also will all objecting with high-rise to come out.
Okay, what about one incident happened yesterday where
Yeah, that was a old building, but more than 40 years it was there. Then they put parapet on top. Luckily, nobody got injured. Luckily, Sao Tome. It was night time.
Okay.
We should not allow, as per this thing, we should not allow high-rise. Consider should see that high-rise buildings are not allowed in that area, please.
But what rules do you expect from the authorities to frame?
No, the rules, the CCP and PTA, they should have the rules, because since it's the heritage place, the new construction of high-rise should not be allowed. This is on the complaint of all the residents of the Sao Tome.
Okay.